Brett, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Story time. I know you love a good story. This conference is all about sharing the stories of the schools and the students who make it so special. I've wanted to cover my next Big 12 Media Days since my last Big 12 Media Days 2 years ago. Didn't work out last year. You guys were in Vegas. I think there was a family vacation or something happening, but I was so excited to learn that you guys were coming back to Dallas this year. And as I was starting to promote it and tell people about it over the last couple of weeks, being from Austin, I kept getting the same response. Well, why are you going to cover Big 12 Media Days? You're a Texas guy. Texas isn't in the Big 12 anymore than the SEC. I said, because you don't get it. The Big 12 is as interesting a conference as exists in college football this year. It has some of my favorite characters in all of college sports, and it has Brett Yormark leading things at the very top, on top of the fact that you guys allow a sort of accessibility that isn't always the case at Media Days. So I guess I wanted to start by personally thanking you for allowing me, even though it may not make a lot of sense, to come help you guys spread the word and all the great things coming out of this conference.
Well, we appreciate that, and we're glad to be back in Texas. You know, we did do the Vegas thing, as you mentioned, and candidly, the reason for going to Vegas was AT&T Stadium wasn't ready. They were going through some renovations in preparation for the World Cup. So it gave us an opportunity to go to a new market for the Big 12, and we had a great experience. But coming back to Texas, I think, made a lot of sense. And polling the coaches that were here yesterday, they all want us to be here. And we're in an incredible venue, partnering with the Cowboys. And from a media perspective, some of the media couldn't make it out to Vegas. This year we have over 500 members of the media coming here. It's the biggest event we've ever had for Media Days, so I think we're going to keep it in Texas for the foreseeable future.
Just watching you operate now, and this is the fourth time you and I have spoken, I feel like I'm sensing a sort of calmness or serenity out of you this year. Maybe it's a little bit of fatigue because you're obviously so busy behind the scenes. Does anything feel different for you this year versus the past 3 years? I know that first year you weren't technically the commish just yet, but is something different this year with you?
I think I'm more familiar with the space, more comfortable.
Right.
You know, I'm heading into my fourth year.
Okay.
It's been a great first 3 years. I've learned a lot. And I'm very comfortable being the commissioner of the Big 12. Not that I wasn't when I took the job, but I had a lot to learn. And I candidly have a lot to learn moving forward. But I feel very comfortable in my shoes. I feel very comfortable about how I'm trying to direct the conference moving forward, especially into this new age of collegiate athletics. And I love the trajectory of this conference. We have introduced 8 new schools over the last 2 years. Takes a lot to do that. That's half our conference. So heading into this year, it'll be the first year, candidly, that we're not introducing new schools. You know, and as I said earlier, I've been doing that for the last 2 years. So I feel like we're getting a lot of rhythm. There's a lot of chemistry amongst the 16 schools. We have an alignment at the AD level, at the board level. We share the same vision of where we want to take this thing. So I think that has probably created some calmness around me. I'm familiar with what's next, if you will. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm thrilled to be the commissioner of the Big 12.
You mentioned you still have a lot to learn. This may be a difficult question because you don't know what you don't know, but what do you still feel like you have to learn on this job?
I think I still need to be conscious of what goes on campus, some of the nuances there. It's not an easy time for a lot of campuses and schools right now. We're going through a changing landscape, and not everyone embraces change the way they should. It's new, it's different. Some people are very cautious about it. So just understanding those sensitivities and just being aware of those dynamics. So I think I just need to continue to be sensitive and learn, you know, what's going on campus and some of the challenges they're dealing with, and make sure that, you know, I can manage accordingly.
I think most everybody who follows college football from a knowledgeable standpoint agrees that the idea of the College Sports Commission and Deloitte coming in and doing more to judge the actuality of certain NIL deals is a good thing. Unfortunately, the NCAA just completely lost its grip on its ability to have a sort of authority and discipline over college football especially. Does the NCAA, in your mind, still have a role in college football, or should their focus shift more towards basketball and some of the other sports that they have been responsible for so long?
Listen, I think I have a great relationship with Charlie Baker, and I think there's a real need for the NCAA. And, you know, like anything in life, you play to your strengths. Their strengths right now are how they put on championships. They do a great job when you think about the championship experience for our student athletes. Where football resides in the foreseeable future, I don't have a crystal ball. But obviously, it's somewhat bifurcated between the CFP and the NCAA. And at some point in time, it needs to be housed all in one particular area. I don't think anything's going to change dramatically in the foreseeable future, but over time I do see a change coming, and I think that'll be good for college football.
As somebody who roots for the Longhorns, it made me cringe to see the idea proposed, and this may have been a year ago at this point, but the 4-4-2-2-1-1-1 model. It's silly to me because you're taking a conference in schools that already have a built-in financial advantage with what that TV deal is and creating an even greater advantage. So it's great to see pushback within the SEC for one, but especially you and Jim Phillips and others who have a major say-so in the future of college sports saying, look, if you're that good, then let's just play these games.
Just turn it on the field.
Let's just do it on the field. We can have automatic conference champs getting in, but at the end of the day, if you're really that good, you may get more than 4 in if you're really that good. But you're
absolutely right.
You're trying to level the playing field a little bit within the disparity that exists financially in these conferences.
Well, I agree with you. You know, I always bet on people and places. Really more people than places. And I'm betting on our ADs and our coaches. They're making all the right investments in their college football programs. They're getting better. They're getting more competitive. So why would I cap their participation moving forward and know that every year? I wouldn't do that. I'm betting on the future. I'm playing the long game. In the immediate future, we might not vie for some of those at-large bids. But long-term, we'll have multiple players in the CFP. I'm convinced of it. Our schools are, I mean, top to bottom, we're the most competitive conference in America, but there will be outliers eventually emerging where we'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 schools part of that national conversation every year. And I think this upcoming season is a big year for that progress and that movement. So why would I, as a commissioner, cap our participation and sign up for 2 AQs or whatever they might be? That's why I've been adamant about the 5-11. Let's earn it on the field. And I think most people feel that way, and I certainly believe the fans do.
I think one of the biggest things facing you and the members of your conference right now is to figure out how to close that financial gap. And I see you guys doing a lot of positive work. PayPal is the latest partner that you have. That's a big deal. We're starting to see private equity enter the equation a little bit, and that is a very slippery slope because more outside forces may have control over the present and future of college sports. What do you think about private equity?
So I'm familiar with that, with private equity, and we've had some conversations. It's been well documented, but we never looked at real pure private equity. If we were going to be in the marketplace aggressively, we'd be looking for a strategic partner that can be a capital resource, but also bring strategic expertise. I can't speak for the other conferences. I know everyone's probably exploring their options, and they should. You want to be prepared for the unexpected. But we're not in that process right now. For me, it's about how do I create value for our member institutions. I'm trying to grow our commercial business. And how do I leverage the scale of 16? I want to do that short term. And then long term, I believe we're in for a big moment in January 30 when we go back into the market for a new TV deal. We haven't been a free agent for 20 years. As you recall, I went early, but we went with our incumbents. We now have 5 major media players focused on marketing and elevating the brand of our schools and our conference. So I look forward to a big moment in January of 30, but between now and then, it's to try to create as much value as I can, PayPal being a great example of that.
All right, last question now. Brett, because I am going to Atlanta for SEC Media Days next week. Have plans to speak with Greg Sankey as well. Love talking to the conference commissioners. I think that you guys are more earnest than people give Greg credit for, too. He's also a very funny guy. People don't ever get to see his sense of humor because he has to be so serious about things. If you could get one truly honest answer from Greg Sankey, what would that be? Because I'm happy to ask that for you next
listen,
week.
Greg and I are very friendly. I mean, and he's very transparent and honest with me. And I have a great relationship with all the commissioners. We're spending a lot of time together because there's a lot of national issues that we're addressing, whether it be settlement, CFP, future governance, etc. But there are going to be those moments where we agree to disagree, and that's okay. I do that with my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't agree on everything. But I consider them colleagues, I consider them friends, and I think everyone in earnest wants to do what's right for college football, but they also have a responsibility to do what's right for their conference. And that's where from time to time there's a little conflict. But send Greg my best.
I will. Brett Yormark, head of the Big 12, could very well be president of the United States at some point, in my opinion. That may not happen because he seems like he has a little bit more morals than that, but always appreciate the time, Brett.
Thank you very
so much.
Appreciate it.